Helldivers is making waves on the award circuit, but on the home front, we may have just seen the first signs of life in months as the Illuminate are making an appearance, at least in the PC backend updates, and more on that later. Welcome back to the channel. This is a very sick-sounding LtBuzzLitebeer, and yes, my throat is on fire, so let's just keep this intro to a minimum. We've got a lot to check out today, culminating in what could amount to a massive troll by the Arrowhead devs. In case you're new here, take a moment to hit subscribe. It's free, and it really helps out the channel get noticed to the far corners of YouTube. And while you're at it, take a few seconds more to ring that notification bell so you never miss one of my future upload alerts. And it's time now to bring on some more Helldivers. Very quickly making our rounds through the Superstore, and this one resets in just under 16 hours. But you've got the light gunner lightweight armor with extra padding for the higher armor rating, but remember, a lightweight armor set with extra armor does not equal the armor rating of a medium armor set, at least not in Helldivers. There's also the light gunner helmet, the dreadnought helmet, and the heavy dreadnought body armor with servo assisted for increased throwing range, and it provides plus 50% limb health. And as always, everything in the Superstore takes super creds, which you can purchase or loot while planetside. Over to the galactic table we go, and this has been a bit of a hodgepodge major order, seeing the Helldivers bounce all over the known galaxy, aided by the major order itself, which essentially comes down to a seesaw battle. We just need more planets liberated on our side versus the enemy by the completion of this MO. Now, the way it sits right now, we are just under 2 days to go and are currently at a +1 advantage. Recent developments have seen the Helldivers send the DSS to Garharan, which was a planet with a 0% regen rate, but okay. And right now, the majority of the votes want to next send it to Vog Syoth. We also saw Lasath get blasted to bits by the bots, taking incoming fire from 5 adjacent planets. So there was essentially zero chance of the Helldivers laying down any sort of an effective defense there, and the bots ended up taking it back and rather easily. In the short term though, Garharan will put us at +2, and then if we can get effective numbers of divers on Vog, we should be able to outlast the bots and win the MO. The Helldivers companion app shows us much the same. You see Garharan there is moving along at a rapid pace despite only having 13,000 divers there. Lasath is currently in a liberation campaign, but with only 6,300 divers, we are losing ground right now at just under 1% an hour. Vog is currently at a 1.5% regen rate, and the other planets with low rates right now are Martal, Darius II, Esker, and Aesir Pass. In the future, and I really hope this is one of the many changes Arrowhead plans to install for the DSS, but we need the ability to change our votes, especially with how long the DSS takes to transfer orbit and how quickly things can escalate in the war, especially with the added changes being thrown into the mix by Game Master Joel. Alright, so in case you missed it, the last 48 hours has been a colossal one for Helldivers 2 and Arrowhead. HD2 has received nominations at the upcoming Game Awards, scheduled for December 12th, seeing our favorite democracy-spreading shooter up for Best Multiplayer, Best Ongoing Game, Best Action Game, and Best Community Support. The Game Awards, though, has seen more than its fair share of controversy leading up to this year's nomination announcements, seeing Jeff Keighley ask a question of Twitter if it was okay to see a DLC receive a nomination in the Game of the Year category, as if he actually cared what Twitter had to say, only to turn around and make it canon less than 48 hours later, announcing that Shadow of the Erdtree was indeed included in this year's Game of the Year category, which of course instantly set off a firestorm of controversy. Some of the complaints included this was only pandering to FromSoft, the developers of Elden Ring. There was also, what about the snubs in that category? All those deserving titles that did not make an appearance. In fact, where's Helldivers, among others? And of course, the final fact that Shadow of the Erdtree is a DLC, requiring you to own Elden Ring and be quite a ways into the game before you can actually access that new DLC material. Switching over to last night, and Helldivers 2 and Arrowhead took home 4 awards from the Golden Joysticks, including Console Game of the Year, Best Multiplayer Game, Best Game Trailer, which is a rather new category, and finally, Critics' Choice Award. Now, one piece of intriguing news came from these awards when Helldivers production director Alex Bohl took to the stage with some previously unknown information.
Winning Best Multiplayer this year is a big thing for Arrowhead and for all Super Earth. It's amazing, bringing 15 million players together, curing loneliness, bringing everyone together. This one is for Arrowhead. I'm thinking about everyone in Stockholm right now. I love you guys. Thank you.
If true, this means Helldivers has continued to grow well past the point that Sony revealed in their most recent investors call, showing only 12 million copies, but that figure was pulled in early May, right as Sony had stepped in and slapped the PC community with the PSN logon requirements and those 170 plus regions and countries being blocked out of buying the game due to the fact that PSN is not available to roughly half of planet Earth. On a side note, and this is me just completely breaking script here, but could you imagine what those sales numbers would look like now without those restrictions? How many more millions of copies would have been sold if Sony hadn't decided the world is not enough and gone full scorched earth on their Steam PC market? My hopes are that someplace, some person that made that draconian decision is having a come to Jesus moment and has realized that PC players are in fact a different market. We're a different breed who are willing to go without or to wait for 10 years to see a single player title arrive on their chosen PC platform. Maybe by the new year, Sony will get its head out of its ass, we get those restrictions lifted, and Uncle Phil is able to persuade Sony brass to bring Helldivers 2 to Game Pass. I know it might be a lot to ask, but one can hope. In other Helldivers news that has not yet come to the live game, we previously saw Shams and Johan announce that vehicles would be coming to the game, and very soon. In fact, if the translations are to be believed, it was expected this week. Well, it's Friday, and that opportunity is now gone, so who knows, maybe next week. We've also seen Johan respond to Twitter requests for color customization, saying that it was in the works, which is definitely something I would personally like to see, so I can get my HD2 drip just right. Twinbeard has previously responded that the DSS rework was in the works, but we have yet to see anything revealed about that one, so as it is, we have a traveling stat stick that is always hours behind what we need and still has a massive team-killing element to its design. And breaking news here, and this could be the trolliest troll of trolls by AH, but SteamDB, which shows all the back-end updates made to the game, has very recently been flooded by updates under the depot name of Gameplay Illuminates. You can't see exactly what has been done to the game, but the file names suggest either that they are very close to appearing in the game, or someone at AH has a terrible sense of humor. I'll let you decide. Drop me a comment and let me know which you think it is. And finally, despite my voice, I didn't want to sign off for today without acknowledging your top comments, and this one's going to include comments from my last two videos, which I have linked for you in the video description. Anyways, want to see your name and comment up in lights? You first need to take the time to leave a comment on this video, and it might just get upvoted enough to make it into the next countdown. And the number one spot from 2 videos ago is Psychic Octopus, cool name by the way, who says, I think that as a rule, in a space game, if you offer a space station, you should be able to go into the space station. And I've got to say, I wholeheartedly agree with that. Yeah, we should definitely be able to set foot on the DSS. In the 2 spot, again from 2 videos ago, is Probably Bears, who says, I saw a suggestion that instead of the 380 barrage, the DSS should do random rail cannon strikes. That's a cool idea, by the way. That way it targets high-tier enemies and there's very little chance of friendly fire. I like that suggestion. Yes, Arrowhead, make it happen, please. And finally, in the 3 spot is Black Quill 85, and again this is from 2 videos ago. They say the Spaceball scene where Dark Helmet asks who is shooting and the gunner is cross-eyed suddenly comes to mind. Yeah, I remember that scene, and that's definitely how those 380s felt, especially when we were assaulting certain POIs. It was just absolute chaos, and it ended up killing us more than it killed the enemies. And now over to the top comments from my last Helldivers video. In the one spot is Violence and Poetry, who says, here's a simple buff for the DSS. If the DSS is in orbit, you get unlimited charges for mechs and orbital lasers. That is something I have not seen suggested, but it seems to have gotten a lot of upvotes, so a lot of you really like that, especially I'm thinking the mech part. That would definitely be cool. And the number 2 spot is Uno Tuwu. Hopefully I didn't butcher that too badly. It says, apologies mean nothing if you just keep doing the same thing over and over. Yeah, that definitely hits kind of hard, and that's kind of the MO that we see from Arrowhead, right? And finally, bringing up the caboose for last video, and the 3 spot is Cole5953 with a rather long one, but let's take a look. It says, the problem isn't even the DSS. It's the content or lack thereof. We have pretty much no new missions, and every major order is mostly just flavor text for the same Liberate Defense campaigns over and over again. I've read this kind of comment many times. Many of you out there feel this way. Why should I even care if they fix the DSS so I can use it on the same exact missions I've played hundreds of times? When we were building the DSS, we didn't get any special missions at all, and that's in caps there, at all. Like when we needed to populate it, I thought we could maybe see big new missions of escorting big groups of civilians to ships or something. Nope, same old, same old. They have so much potential for new and exciting missions they could make for these major orders, but seemingly never do. That one also received quite a bit of upvotes. Yeah, new content is something we badly need in the game, and congrats to all 6 of you for making it in to the top comments. Alright, that's all I've got for you today. That's probably all my voice can tolerate. The pins and needles in my throat right now are excruciating, but onwards we go, right? Remember to drop me any feedback you have about Helldivers, and I will do my best to respond. Also, remember to hit subscribe and to ring that notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. All my socials, including links to all of today's sources, can be found down in the video description. A shout out to the now over 248,000 of you legends from across Super Earth who have done your best to support the channel. You've already hit subscribe and you tune in daily to support me and the channel. We're nearly to 250K. I can't wait to see us hit that milestone together. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.